You were born in 12th century England to peasant parents who worked the land for a noble, which meant your life was almost predetermined from the very beginning. Your parents labored endlessly in the fields, and you were expected to follow the same path. From the moment you entered the world, life was harsh. Most days, you ate nothing but bread. If you were lucky, you might get a bit of vegetables or fish. Meat was out of the question, that was reserved for the nobles. Your future seemed clear: work tirelessly, obey, perhaps earn a small hut of your own, then grow old and die while your children repeated the same life. But one day, your father told you about a blacksmith in town, a man with money, status, and land, who forged weapons for nobles. He wanted to send you to become his apprentice. This was your chance, your only way out. So at the age of 8, you were sent to the city, a place completely different from your quiet village, noisy, crowded, and chaotic. When you stepped into the blacksmith's workshop, your heart raced. Children your age were everywhere, running, hammering, shouting. The blacksmith barely looked at you before ordering you to change clothes and start working immediately. From that day on, your life became relentless labor, hauling water, carrying coal, pumping the bellows to keep the fire burning. You worked from before sunrise until after sunset without rest. If you slacked off, you would be thrown out and sent back to the fields. By the age of 10, your back and joints already ached. Worse still, you had to work while constantly observing your master and senior apprentices, learning every move. Because you weren't paid, you worked only for food. And if you weren't useful, you might not even get that. Everyone competed fiercely. Some tried to impress the master by taking on every task, while others already had reputations. You were just a child trying to survive. Break the rules, and you would be punished, either forced to work longer or denied food. After years of hardship and sweat, you finally improved. You no longer spent every day hauling coal, you could now repair weapons and armor. It was still exhausting, but you held on to the hope of a better future. At 15, you were no longer an apprentice, you became a true blacksmith. Your master acknowledged your skill and gave you two choices: stay and earn a stable wage, or leave as a wandering craftsman, traveling wherever work could be found. It was a gamble, success or starvation. After a moment of hesitation, and a final push from your master, you chose to leave. Life on the road was brutal. You wandered from place to place, struggling to survive. Weeks passed without work. You had no money, no food, no shelter. You carried goods, cleaned stalls, sharpened knives just to earn a meal. At night, you slept wherever you could, on street corners, in stables, even on piles of hay. After a month of suffering, you finally got a small job repairing a farmer's tool, just for food. Then came another stretch of unemployment. Your clothes wore thin, your stomach stayed empty, and you looked more like a beggar than a craftsman. Exhausted and desperate, you nearly gave up and considered returning to your master just for a full meal. Then, finally, luck changed. You found work that paid. One job led to another. Over time, you went from barely surviving to saving small amounts of money. You improved your skills, traveled to learn better techniques, and gradually built a reputation. More people sought you out, and your value increased. When you returned to the city, you were no longer the same person. Your craftsmanship had become exceptional, and your name spread far and wide. Nobles, mercenaries, and even military officials sought your work. But success brought new dangers. These powerful clients didn't negotiate, they demanded. With civil war approaching, blacksmiths like you became incredibly valuable, almost like living weapons. You even heard rumors that people wanted to kidnap you. Fearing for your freedom, you went into hiding for a month. Eventually, the situation stabilized, and you remained free. At 22, You ended your wandering life and became a respected master. You chose to serve a powerful lord as his personal blacksmith. You built your own forge and moved into a large house, almost like a small castle. You had servants, fine food, elegant clothes, and wine once reserved for nobles. You had finally achieved the life you had dreamed of, but it came at a cost. Your lord demanded countless weapons, swords, axes, armor, not just for war but to strengthen his power. You could no longer work alone. So you hired other blacksmiths and apprentices, turning your workshop into a constantly running operation. The fire burned from dawn to night, just like when you were an apprentice. The only difference was that you no longer ate stale bread, but the exhaustion remained just as intense. Your fame spread across England, and you became one of the most renowned blacksmiths. When the wars ended and peace returned, new systems emerged. Guilds were formed, and you were chosen as the leader of the Blacksmiths' Guild. Your work shifted from forging metal to handling negotiations, politics, and maintaining the guild's position. It was a different kind of struggle, dealing with powerful people instead of iron. Then, one day, your body began to fail. Years of inhaling smoke made you cough constantly. Your back stiffened. Your hands trembled. You pushed through the pain until you could no longer continue. The diagnosis was lead poisoning. A lifetime of working with toxic metals and fumes had destroyed your body. Most blacksmiths didn't live past 50. And at 47, you knew your time was near. You accepted it. You had trained countless apprentices, built a thriving forge, and established a guild that would protect future craftsmen. Your body was failing, but the legacy you created would endure. When you finally took your last breath, the sound of hammering still echoed throughout the city. You were never just a blacksmith, you were the fire in the forge that ignited an era.